Welcome to the video for making charts for your Final Project 205 assignment. In this video, we're going to be using Google Sheets to do this. If you plan on using Microsoft Excel, go ahead and stop watching this video. There'll be a separate one for you. We're going to create 3 charts for this assignment, and we're going to have a few tabs open in order to do this. The first tab open we're going to use is for Google Sheets. And I've already got this set up. I've also given it a title up here, Final Project 205 Example. And it's always a good idea to put a title in any kind of document you're using so you know what it is and you don't have file after file of untitled spreadsheets and untitled documents and untitled presentations. I'm going to have a couple more tabs open here as well. I'm going to have a tab open for the Census Bureau's website, census.gov.gov, and that link is in the directions to Final Project 205. The last tab I need is for the Bureau Labor Statistics, and that link is also in your Final Project directions at bls.gov/EAG, which stands for Economy at a Glance. Let's go back to Google Sheets. In Google Sheets, we're going to start by setting up our charts by plugging in the information that we need to put in there. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to make this a little bit easier to read. The first chart we need to do is percent of bachelor's degree. We want to know how many people in a city have a bachelor's degree, because typically the more education people have, the more money they make. And the more money they make, the more money they can spend on your sports team. So that's going to go in cell A1, the very first cell in our spreadsheet. And in row 2, this is where I'm going to put my city, and I'm going to compare it to the state that my city is in, and I'm going to compare it to the national average. I'm going to use Milwaukee as an example. So in cell A2, I'm going to type in Milwaukee, and that's where the Milwaukee statistics will go. In cell B2, I'm going to put in the state that Milwaukee's in, and I'm just going to abbreviate Wisconsin with a WI. In cell C2, I'm going to put US, and this is where the national average is going to go. And all of us are going to be using the same information for that national average. Now we're ready to go find these numbers. I'm going to leave this up and go to the Census Bureau's website. And at the Census Bureau's homepage, I'm going to go do a search for Milwaukee. And I'm going to put in quick facts because that's what I need. When the search hits come back, I need to make sure I'm looking at the right Milwaukee, and that would be Milwaukee City, not Milwaukee County. Some of you may need to double check that too, especially if you're using New York. You want to make sure that when you're looking up New York City, you're actually looking up New York City statistics and not New York State. And if your team's in Los Angeles, you want to make sure you're looking up statistics for Los Angeles City and not Los Angeles County. So I do need to carefully take a look at my search results here. And the very first search result that comes back says U.S. Census Bureau Quick Facts, Milwaukee City, Wisconsin. That's what I need. Before I go on any further, I do want to show you, I don't want to click on the wrong one, which would be the second one, which is Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. And actually there's a third one, South Milwaukee City, Wisconsin. So these are all going to give me 3 different statistics. I really want the Milwaukee City one because that's what I'm looking for here. So I'm going to click on the Quick Facts page, and I just want to double check in the upper left-hand corner that this is where I need to be. It's Quick Facts for Milwaukee City, Wisconsin, so that looks good. On the far right-hand side of this table, I see Milwaukee City, Wisconsin is here. So for the very first numbers I need, I'm going to go down to the education section and find the percentage of people in Milwaukee with a bachelor's degree that are over 25 years old. So that statistic is right here, and for Milwaukee City, it's 24.2%. So I can copy and paste that or just type it back into my Google spreadsheet here. And again, I'm going to add that percentage sign. You can choose to do that, or choose not to do that. But whatever you do, keep it consistent on row 3. So because I've used that percentage now, I'm also going to use percentage when I type in the Wisconsin number and also the national number. So I've got my Milwaukee statistic. Let me go back to the Census Bureau, and I'm going to go back up to the top. And now I need to find the state average for the same number. In the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to click in the search field and start typing in Wisconsin until Wisconsin shows up. And then I'm going to click on that. I'll see the gears turning, and when they're done, I'll see a column now for Wisconsin with the same statistics just for the whole state. I need to scroll down again to the education section and find that same statistic category and see what it is for the state. So for the state of Wisconsin, it's 29.5%. So I need to take that 29.5% and put it back in Google Sheets. And again, I need to remember, because I used the percent sign in Milwaukee, I'm also going to use the percent sign for Wisconsin. And it doesn't matter if that 0 is there at the end. It doesn't do anything. If you really want to change that, you can go into Google Sheets and change it so it's just 1 decimal point, or even no decimal points if you want to round it up. Now the last thing I need to find is the U.S. national average for people with a bachelor's degree in the United States. So I need to go back to the Census Bureau's website again and do another search in the upper left-hand corner for the United States. So as I start typing in United States, it's going to pop up, as long as I spell it correctly. So as the gears finish turning, we now have a third column for the United States. So we're going to scroll down here and find the national average for bachelor's degree or higher. That's 31.5%. So I'm going to copy and paste that number, or type it out, 31.5%. So now I have the data I need to make the chart in Google Sheets. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. So it's important to tell Google Sheets what information you want it to make a chart with. I wanted to take the data labels, which are on row 2, and the data itself on row 3, and turn this into a chart. So I need to select the right data cells in order to do that. I'm going to click on Milwaukee and make sure that my cursor stays as a white arrow here. I don't want to roll over the border and turn it into that glove. And I don't want to roll over the lower right-hand corner and turn it into those crosshairs. I need to make sure that it's that white arrow. Now once I've got it as a white arrow, I'm going to left click on the mouse and keep the left click held down to select all 6 of these cells. And that's what I'm going to make the chart with. I don't want to select more columns than column C, and I don't want to select more rows than column 3. So this is what I'm looking to have. If I have more cells selected than information that's in them, it's going to make the chart look funky. So we want to make sure that we only have these 6 cells selected. We're simply going to go from here and click on Insert. And from Insert, we need to tell Google Sheets what it is we want to insert. For this point, it's a chart. So we're going to click on a chart. And Google Sheets is going to assume that you want a bar chart. And that's fine, that works. That's actually one of the more appropriate ones that we're going to have here. So now we have our chart. We've got our city, our state average, and the national average here. The only thing that's really missing for this, and there are a couple things I could tweak in here, but what I really need to have is a chart title here. And that's just a good practice to have when you're building charts for a report or for a document, so your reader knows what it is they're looking at. So in the chart editor, which pops up automatically, you have setup and then you have customize. We're going to click on customize, and we have options: chart style, chart axis and titles, series, legend, and horizontal axis. We want to do a chart title, so we're going to go back to the second selection here and go to chart and axis titles. And we do have an option right away that's chart title. And so we're going to type just below that percent of bachelor's degrees. And now we see that pops up in our chart here. So this chart really, at this moment, is ready to copy and paste into our Word document or into the Google document that we're creating for our final project 205. At the moment, we're just going to left click somewhere in the white space and move this chart out of the way because I don't need it at the moment. I'm going to move it below my numbers so I can continue to add more things in here. The next chart we need to do is median household income. So we're really going to set this up the same way we just did with the percent of bachelor's degree. I'm going to go over to column E and I'm going to type in my header here so I remind myself what it is I'm looking for. So I'm going to type in median household income. And I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So for E2, F2, and G2, I basically just need the same information I had before. I can either type it out, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, US, or I could copy and paste it from what I've already done. You can do it either way. Now I need to find the median household income for Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the US. The good thing is, I've already found that information. It's on the Census Bureau's webpage, on the same page I was looking at before, to find the percent of bachelor's degree. So let's go ahead and go back to the Census Bureau's website and see what the median household income is for Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the United States. Household income is under an income and poverty subsection here. And so I found it right here, the median household income in 2018 dollars. I don't need the 2018 dollars part. I'm just comparing like numbers for the city, the state, and United States. So for Milwaukee, the median household income in Milwaukee is $40,036. So I can copy and paste that number, or I can type it in. And again, just like you did with percentages before, if you're going to use a dollar sign for Milwaukee or your city, then keep using dollar signs and make it consistent. If you don't want to use a dollar sign, that's fine too, but don't use dollar signs for some data and not dollar signs for others. Now I'm going to go find my Wisconsin median household income. And the Census Bureau tells me that in Wisconsin, the state average is $59,209. So I'm going to type that in here as well. I've got one more number to find in the Census Bureau. And again, this should be something that all of us are using the same number for. So the national median household income in the entire country is $60,293. So now I've got the information I need to make my second chart. I'm going to zoom back out. So again, it's important when you're using Google Sheets to select the cells that you need Google Sheets to make your chart with. So once again, click back on Milwaukee in cell E2 and click and drag with my left click to select all 6 of those cells. And then I'm just going to do the same thing I did before to create a chart, which is insert and then chart, and it gives me another chart here. Now this is why it's important to do chart titles. I'm using the same numbers in the same cities before, but if I put these two charts next to each other, how do I know which one's which? So I do see these numbers here on the left-hand side, which are in dollar signs. So it does tell me it's a little bit different from the first chart. This is why it gets important to title your charts here. So in Google Sheets, I'm going to go back to Customize, and I'm going to go back to Chart and Axis Titles. I'm going to give this chart title a title as well, which would be Median Household Income. And again, if you want to play with the colors and the backgrounds, you are more than welcome to do that. But at a minimum, this is what we want here. And again, I'm going to move this chart out of the way because I've got one more set of data I need to do here. Our last numbers we need are from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So I'm going to go to column I, and I'm going to type in unemployment rate. This is our third and final chart. And in cell I2, I'm going to set it up the same way I did on my previous charts. I'm going to start with Milwaukee, and then J2 is going to be Wisconsin, and then K2 will be United States. So now I need to go find my numbers. For unemployment rate only, we're going to use the Bureau of Labor Statistics to find out what those numbers are. And we're actually going to do it kind of backwards. We're going to find the US numbers first, and then the Wisconsin numbers, and then the Milwaukee numbers. And when you do this, you're going to find the US numbers, and then your state's numbers, and then your city's numbers. So let's take a look at what we have. We're going to go to the BLS website here, and I'm going to zoom in on this too. And we have the economy at a glance. So again, like I said, we're going to start with the US number first. On the far left-hand side to the left of our map, there's the US economy. So we're going to click on that US economy data. And the monthly data for the US economy, the unemployment rate, the latest number, is all the way to the right of this table, which is 7.9%. I mean, 7.9% of people that are looking for jobs in America last month were not able to find one. So I'm going to take that 7.9% and I'm going to put it under the US data in my unemployment table here. Like I said before, we're going to work backwards this time from US to your state to your city. So now I'm going to find Wisconsin. So let me click back on the BLS. And on the left-hand side, I have a list of states. So I'm going to scroll down on the list of states. And I'm going to go down to Wisconsin. So I want to find out, what is the Wisconsin unemployment rate? It's not the first number, but it's in the first set of numbers here. So I'm looking for the unemployment rate. And be sure you find the rate and not just unemployment. So the unemployment rate is percentage, again, of people that are looking for jobs that can't find one. So in Wisconsin last month, that number was 5.4%. So I'm going to go back to Sheets and make it 5.4%. And again, if you're going to use percentage, make sure your data is consistent from cell to cell. The last thing I need to find is the Milwaukee unemployment rate. I'm going to go back to the BLS website. I'm already in Wisconsin. If I scroll up to the top of this page, I'm going to see a map of Wisconsin. So I need to find Milwaukee on this map. Milwaukee's on the east side of the state, and I'm going to click on Milwaukee. And now I'm going to scroll down and find the Milwaukee unemployment rate. So it looks like a similar table to what we had before. So the unemployment rate for Milwaukee, and actually they don't have a number for September yet, so I'm going to use the latest number they have, which is from August, which is 7.4%. I'm going to go back to Google Sheets, type in 7.4%, and now I'm ready to make my chart for the third and final time. Again, with charts and Sheets, you just need to tell Sheets where you want to make the data from and what cells you're going to use. So again, I'm going to left click and hold the left click button down on Milwaukee and click and drag down and to the right to select all 6 of those cells there. One last time, I'm going to go to Insert and then Chart. Google Sheets assumes I want a bar chart or a column chart, and that's in fact what I want. Again, this is one more chart. It looks very similar to the others, the same color styles, etc. I want to make sure that my reader, which is me, can tell which chart is which. So again, I want to go to Customize and go to Chart and Axis Titles and go to Chart Title and call this Unemployment Rate. And then I can close out the chart editor. Unless I want to change themes and change colors. You are more than welcome to do that if you know how to do that or would like to learn on your own and play around and fiddle around with Google Sheets. I now have my 3 charts. The only thing I need to do with them now is copy each one and paste them into my Word document or my Google Doc that I'm going to turn in for Final Project 205. So now you know how to make all three of these charts. Good luck making your own. If you have any questions, as always, contact me via Remind or email and we'll work on it together. Good luck.